I told you that the final installment of Attack on Titan had way more hidden details than most people observe? For example, did Mikasa marry after Eren died or not? Did Eren achieve true freedom? How about what is written on Eren's tombstone? Or how about any leads about a future spin-off series? These are 45 secrets you definitely missed in Attack on Titan Season 4. One of the most burning questions that has to do with Mikasa, and generally the ending of Attack on Titan, is whether Mikasa gets married after Eren dies. Well, in reality, there are pretty valid arguments to back up both sides, so what actually happens is up to each of you to decide. You see, on her deathbed, Mikasa is seen having a ring on her finger, which can surely indicate that she got married after Eren died. Plus, in the credit scenes, she is seen visiting Eren's grave with another man while also holding a baby. If that was not enough, if you closely observe the background, exactly 8 years pass after the bird that symbolized Eren wrapped the scarf around Mikasa's neck. This event took place 3 years after Eren died, meaning that Mikasa visits Eren's grave alongside this man and the baby 11 years after Eren's death, so 1 year more than the 10 years Eren wanted Mikasa to stay alone. Now on the other side, there were some pretty good arguments to back up the claim that Mikasa did not get married, the most important of which is this scene right here. If you observe, Mikasa was buried with Eren's scarf, showing that even after multiple years, she still loved Eren. Not a strong enough argument? Well, listen to the next one then. The flowers on Mikasa's body are white lilies. This symbolizes purity in women, and thus this might suggest that Mikasa did not marry after Eren died. How about the baby and the man alongside her then? Well, some people claim that this is Armin, and the baby in Mikasa's hands is Armin's child. But you see, the next detail I found reinforces even more the idea that Mikasa did not marry another man. Do you know what it says on Eren's tombstone? As written by Mikasa, quote, "Here lying in peace, my dear, my most precious love, 854. Plus, it is surely beyond any doubt that in the afterlife, Mikasa and Eren reunited. So even if Mikasa married after Eren died, she never forgot about Eren, and she never stopped loving him. Some people prefer that Mikasa got married since they wanted her to move on with her life and be happy, while others wanted her to remain loyal to Eren forever. Since neither was explicitly proven, what do you think happened? Did Mikasa marry another man or not? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. But another fact that many of you missed is that in this picture right here, Armin is seen visiting Eren's grave on his own, while another grave is next to it. Do you get what that means? Mikasa was buried right next to Eren, so even if she had a husband, it surely seems that she did not love him more than Eren. A chilling fact about that moment is that Armin once again reached the tree last. As children, Armin repeatedly stated that he was always reaching the tree last. As it turns out, this was always meant to be a foreshadowing from Isayama. Just like they did as children, Eren was the first to reach the tree, Mikasa was second, and Armin was once again last. Now, when it comes to Eren's death by Mikasa, just this 5-second sequence reveals 3 secrets that many of you missed. The first is that Eren had his eyes closed throughout the entirety of the rumbling. However, he opened his eyes one last time just to see Mikasa. Did that hit deep? Well, listen to the next one. Eren's eyes are red, showing that throughout the rumbling, he did not only have his eyes closed, but he was also crying non-stop. Once again, this showed that Eren did all of this with a very heavy heart. Finally, this scene showed once again that Mikasa is always depicted more beautiful than what she normally is when seen from Eren's perspective. Next, I would like to once again praise the genius of Isayama, as well as discuss another burning question. Did Eren achieve true freedom or not? You see, Attack on Titan ended in chapter 139. The number 140 symbolizes freedom in Japan, so Eren dying just a step before that shows that as a matter of fact, Eren did not achieve true freedom. Plus, the number 139 was meant to symbolize the 13 years for the Curse of Ymir and the 9 Titan shifters. If that was not enough, Attack on Titan was split in exactly 9 parts, just like the power of Ymir was split into 9 Titan shifters. I'm not sure if that was random, but given Isayama's genius, I wouldn't rule out the possibility that this was not a coincidence. You want more of these details? Well, in Attack on Titan, Isayama does not put numbers on his manga pages, but if you open the first chapter of Attack on Titan, there is one page being numbered. That page is none other than the 13th page, referencing once more the Curse of Ymir. But back to Eren's question on whether he achieved true freedom or not. You see, throughout the series, Eren symbolized himself with a caged bird. In the ending, a bird that was clearly meant to reference Eren was seen flying free. So once again, did Eren achieve true freedom with his death? Up to you to decide. The sure thing, however, that many people misinterpreted was whether Eren failed in his true goal. After all, war started again after Eren died. So did Eren achieve nothing? Not exactly, because Eren's goal was not to eradicate war completely, but rather ensure that his friends lived the remaining of their lives in peace and safety. And for that, he achieved it perfectly. What the eruption of war meant to the credit scenes was not that Eren failed, but rather this showed that history is bound to repeat itself over and over again. No matter if the power of the Titans is eradicated from the world or not, humans will always always find a reason to fight. The message of history repeating itself was heavily portrayed in Attack on Titan numerous times, actually. You see, if you recall back in Season 1 when Eren transformed in front of the scouts, the commander of that unit was about to give the order to open fire, but Armin stopped him. The exact same thing happened in the ending, where Armin stepped up and made sure that the soldiers would not shoot. But what's even more mind-blowing is that the commanders on both of these occasions look awfully close to each other, showcasing once again the theme of history repeating itself. Plus, they both proceed to ask Armin, quote, "Are you human or are you Titan?" Because of the exact theme that Isayama likes to use a lot, in combination with this next detail I found, it actually gives hope to many fans that Attack on Titan will return once more with another sequel. Do you see this pair of Titans? It's a boy alongside his dog. Get where I'm going with this? The very last scenes we were shown was a kid alongside his dog visiting Eren's grave. What if this case was once again an instance of history repeating itself, in the sense that in the past there was a pair of Titan shifters that resembled a dog and its owner, maybe a pair of a Beast Titan alongside an Attack Titan. The reason this was added was maybe in order to tease about the upcoming Attack on Titan series, where this boy and his dog would be the protagonists. Now, when it comes to the last volume of AOT, if you observe the front cover, the main trio is seen running towards the tree. The back cover now shows a bunch of kids running towards the same tree, showing that the sacrifice of Eren's generation was enough to ensure the happiness of the next generation after them. When it comes to the manga and the changes Mappa and Isayama did in the final episode of Attack on Titan, there were some significant ones. First of all, in the manga, Mikasa does indeed get remarried, while in the anime, as we already analyzed, this is not 100% proven. Not only that, but a significant change happened during the conversation of Eren and Armin via the paths. In the manga, Armin thanks Eren for becoming a murderer in order to protect them. However, in the anime, Armin actively takes part of the blame and shares this burden that Eren was holding. He says that they are both responsible for what Eren did. Because of that, Armin will be alongside Eren in hell when he dies. Was this interesting enough for you? Well, if not, hear this next fact. One of the best OST songs in Attack on Titan is this. But have you ever wondered what it actually means? When translated, it means, is that the destroyer or the creator? We wave the swords with a glow of hatred. Is that our destiny or our will? We will fight until this hot wind takes our wings. Not only is this song a banger, but it's also as meaningful as it gets. A thing many fans observed was the connection of the first and 80th episode. The first episode is named To You 2,000 Years From Now, while the 80th episode is named From You 2,000 Years Ago. This parallel can be interpreted in two different ways. The one is that this message was directed to Eren that managed to set Ymir free, and thus the one Ymir was waiting for is Eren. However, an interpretation I think is even more fitting is that of Mikasa, that as Eren also stated, Ymir was waiting for her. A thing, however, that not even Eren knew was what the reason was that Ymir was waiting for Mikasa all these years. Rest easy, because I've got the answer to that question as well. The reason Ymir was waiting for Mikasa was because, as we know, Ymir was never able to kill King Fritz, despite the fact that she knew that what he was going to do to her and other people was wrong. Her love for Fritz stopped her from doing what was right. That's exactly why Ymir was waiting for Mikasa. You see, Mikasa was able to actually kill her lover, and thus managed to do what Ymir couldn't. That's exactly why Ymir is seen smiling at the corner while Mikasa beheads Eren. She's not a psychopath. She does not enjoy seeing this kind of thing. She just witnessed Mikasa setting her free by doing what she did not have the strength to do on her own. Up next, did you notice this insane foreshadowing moment with Levi? You see, back when the scouts infiltrated Marley as normal citizens, Levi was seen giving a lollipop to one kid. While doing so, his hat is positioned in a way to cover his right eye. Fast forward to the ending, Levi is seen giving a lollipop to a child, now literally having lost his right eye. Plus, don't you find it weird that Levi lost his right eye while Hanji lost her left eye? Well, say what you want, but I don't think that this was random at all. But speaking of Levi, did this scene remind you of anything? This was exactly the same pose that Kenny Ackerman had when he died. When it comes to that scene, I did find another small detail too. Do you see Erwin? He is saluting with his left arm instead of his right. Also, Hanji has her left eye missing. So let me get this straight. They went into the afterlife and still could not get back their missing limbs? If so, is Marco split in half even in the afterlife? Is Eren just a head in the afterlife as well? Damn, Isayama, just give my guys their limbs back. They're already dead. But since we mentioned Marco, a hilarious detail I found is this. When AOT ended, Isayama drew a small spin-off manga where the protagonists of AOT are normal people living in a modern era. But even like that, apparently Isayama felt like violating Marco once again as he drew him in the background being split in half, even in this version of AOT. One of the best foreshadowings we already analyzed in this video was the fact that female mantises decapitate their lovers. After digging, apparently apparently there are 2 cases where Mikasa is hinting that she'll decapitate Eren, and not just the one we've already analyzed in past videos. The first is in the first episode, where she's seen observing a praying mantis, but the second occasion that everyone missed was during the second opening of AOT, where a praying mantis is briefly shown next to Mikasa. But speaking of that event, did you know that a severed head retains consciousness for about 25 to 30 seconds? So, did Eren feel Mikasa's kiss? Well, I'm not sure what Isayama wanted to show here, because from what I saw, what he was aiming to do was create a tragic love story that never becomes a reality. But no matter what Isayama wanted, the way this was shown means that Eren probably felt the kiss with Mikasa. Now, if you like facts about Eren and Mikasa, you should hear this. Mikasa was the first person Eren saw when he opened his eyes in episode 1, and the last person he ever saw when he opened his eyes one last time in the final episode. The whole story of Eren starts and ends with him opening his eyes to see Mikasa. Next, did you know that this song that played after the bird wrapped the scarf around Mikasa's neck was actually sung by the voice actors of Eren and Mikasa? Damn, that hits deep! When it comes to the voice actors of Attack on Titan, all of Armin's, Mikasa's, and Eren's voice actors were seen crying after finishing their lines for Attack on Titan. Yeah, that sounds about right. I believe Isayama broke a record with how many people he made cry in a single day. During the ending song, Mikasa wakes up in the afterlife, and the first thing she feels is Eren holding her hand. Then she leans her head on him. Although not exactly a happy ending, as Eren and Mikasa never truly spent their actual life together, this was surely a very wholesome ending. I mean, damn, if Mikasa got married to another man, imagine how he feels when, even after all these years, Mikasa still loves Eren more than him. But speaking of Eren and Mikasa, did you ever notice that in the key visual of the cabin, there was actually Eren and Mikasa kissing? Not exactly a reality, but it still was kind of wholesome to observe. Speaking of the cabin, did you realize that Mikasa is the only person who knows how this version of Eren looks like? No one else is able to see this side of Eren. All they have of him is the violent and bloodthirsty character. None of them saw his gentle, soft, and caring side besides Mikasa. Do you find that wholesome? Well, if not, listen to the next fact. At first, Mikasa's entire life was revolving around Eren, and some could say that her entire life was Eren, but in reality, Eren was only a fraction of Mikasa's life, while Mikasa was all of Eren's life. After all, almost all of Eren's years were spent by Mikasa, while Mikasa spent only a fraction of her years next to Eren. Let's change the mood a bit and give a bit of a different fact for our next point. Did you know that both Eren and Levi are part of a video game? If your mind went on Fortnite, well, that's not what I meant. In Payday 3, there was a character named, quote, Eric Yeager, and is a bank assistant. Not only that, but apparently a loan officer is named, quote, Liam Ackerman. But let's get back to the hidden details inside the actual anime. Did you realize that the pregnant lady that Eren walked past when he visited Marley as a citizen was the same lady that died falling from that cliff during the rumbling? The child that was saved was her baby that was born before Eren started the rumbling. Moving on, when it comes to Armin's self-hatred on this scene, this set of emotions stems from his belief that he's responsible for Eren's obsession with freedom, as he was the one who showed him the pictures of the outside world. Next, when Levi wanted to desperately save Armin, the reason he gave himself was that they needed his colossal transformation in order to have some chances of winning against Eren. However, there was another deeper reason as well. Levi had already lost 2 commanders, Hanji and Erwin, and could not stand losing a third one now. Up next, let's give 2 facts about Mikasa that most of you never realized or even knew. During this scene, Mikasa symbolized the wings of freedom. Mikasa is the one to kill Eren, erase the power of the Titans, and stop the rumbling. She was the embodiment of the fight of humanity for freedom. When Isayama was asked about Mikasa, he revealed that she was the first character he ever created. You see, he had in mind that Mikasa needed to be the opposite of a typical anime heroine, and I can confidently say he achieved this perfectly. Even though this is not a new fact that had to do with Season 4, I'd still like to add it in order to emphasize on the beautiful cycle of Levi, the man who went through everything, lost everything, but even like that, managed to both survive and save the entire world. Levi's tragic character is emphasized by the fact the white cravat he wears was part of his mother's shirt. He always wears it to remember her, closing with one of the biggest domino effects the world has ever seen. Would you believe me if I told you that a pig escaping led to the death of 80% of humanity? After a series of events, the pig managed to send chills running through my spine when I read one last time, "To the boy who sought freedom, goodbye." Check out this video where we present the 60 saddest facts you never realized in Attack on Titan. Go on, click it.